Let's talk Melrose. Melrose. I'm Tom Catalini.
I'm Jen LeClaire.
And I'm Eugenia Gibbons.
Hi,
and who
everyone.
else is down there?
Hi, Sam. Wherever you are. I don't know where you are.
One of these
Where
years
is
has
she?
Sam Hammer. This is Let's Talk Melrose, a show where Let's Talk Melrose, excuse me, a show where Melrosians talk to Melrosians about Melrose, and that's just what we're going to do tonight. There's a lot going on in the world, as you know, and that's why we're coming to you virtually. We found the technology. MMTV, as we always talk about, has boundless technology, endless energy. Dr. Mike Miner flipping all the switches, turning all the dials, and making the magic happen. And it is St. Patrick's Day, hence the festive wear. And so I'm gonna fill up my my glass where you all say hello.
Hello. How's everybody hanging in there? Shout out.
Social distancing like a pro. Like
exactly. Yeah. Shout out, even further shout out to MMTV because they are really being called to action kind of all over the city to help with updates and virtual meetings and stuff like that. So
everything.
But here we are. We're zooming to you. We're zooming right into your living room because the show must go on. We still have all our costumes and props.
This a good point, Jen. This show is so important to society that it must go on. So we want to keep the wheels spinning, and we found a way. This jacket is actually my original 1986 Celtics jacket. Still fits, which is great.
That's impressive. I'm impressed.
But I gotta loosen this because it is like 1,000% polyester, and cool. It's like 200 degrees in here.
All right. So how's everybody feeling? How's everybody managing so far? What's up? What's up?
Sam, how are you holding up?
We're good over here. I'm trying to not look through my back window as often to see you, Tom, and spy on you, but we're pretty good. I stopped by Jen's house and picked up some arts and crafts, which we have already gone through. And yeah, we're surviving.
And hopefully in all of those things, you're at least 6 feet away from each other.
Yes, the art supplies was days ago, and it's kind of funny because I feel like everything's changing day by day, right?
Moment to moment,
exactly. Yeah. So yeah.
Some things never change.
Speaking of which, we're not going to skip over the news. So we talked about obviously the coronavirus, the lockdowns that are happening. It's changing very fast. You see the governor, you see the president, you see all this stuff happening, but also Mayor Broder, in conjunction with the platforms of MMTV, have been right on top of this at the local level. So we don't really want to reiterate a lot of the news because I think it's well publicized, but one thing I just wanted to share with the viewers was where to get plugged into those updates. So cityofmelrose.org is really a great place to go. If you go to the homepage, there's some news sections, and if you go to the local city updates, you subscribe to the news. That's one place where you can see it all, and you get local city updates as well as video updates from Mayor Broder. So I think with MMTV and others on his staff, he's been doing video updates almost daily, which have been great to see. But right there, you can go and put your email address and subscribe. You can also subscribe to the mayor's blog, which he's been doing on a regular basis, but even ramped up under COVID now. The other thing is today I got my first city alert from Everbridge, and also on the city's homepage under the little button that says subscribe to alerts. So those are kind of the key channels that I found to keep tabs on what the city is communicating, and it's a lot. And it's happening often. Thanks, Sam. So I don't know. That's what I captured. How have you guys been staying plugged in? Are those good sources? Do you have more?
Yeah, I feel like I feel like the news has been coming to right into our house, which is great. The city's been really proactive. The city and leadership has been really proactive. So I'm getting regular updates and emails both from the city, from the superintendent, from the my kids' school principals, their teachers. So I feel like as long as we kind of keep up with the information that's coming right to me, I've been fine with that. So
are you also getting updates from like 200 software providers that you forgot you gave your email address to?
Yes,
yes,
everything.
Providers, retailers.
Yeah.
Yes, everybody who has my email address.
Yeah.
Who I didn't even know they were affected by COVID, but apparently DSW is.
I got one from Constant Contact email marketing because I use that for some of my work and some of my clients, and I was like, it's email marketing. Like I'm doing this from home anyway. I mean, I'm sure obviously it affects their employees and stuff like that, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I just want to put another plug. Tom, you mentioned it, but I just want to say again, the videos coming out of Mayor Broder's videos coming out of MMTV are also a really great way to stay updated. So all of that is on the website that you mentioned, but that's probably the best way to get accurate information.
I think they're posting those on the MMTV Facebook page, and I think Mayor Broder is also pretty active in the community page on Facebook, on Twitter. So, I mentioned the web page is that's a simple, clean way to go and where you can subscribe to your email, but he's really trying to push that out on many platforms.
I have been trying to avoid a lot of social media, but yes.
Yeah, I've been, we've been trying to focus on my neighborhood group and stuff like that. So tell me more, Eugenia. I'm really curious since I don't get to see you guys and I'm not getting to see people. I'm really curious, like what your life is like now. What's going on? What's happening at your house?
We are trying to do this tricky balance. Sam and I are in a similar boat where we have young kids. Trying to do this tricky balance between maintaining work obligations, honoring work obligations, and then also tapping into my former life as a teacher, which I'm reminded why I am not a teacher. So kudos to the teachers who are out there. God love you. I don't know how you do this every single day with 28, little people, but it's been interesting. So, there's a lot of morning circle, stretch time, exercise for gym, baking, reading, independent reading, the occasional bit of screen time when I have to really log in for a conference call or something, but we're surviving. It's fine. My kids are being great.
Cool.
It's really fine.
Good.
And clear of other people.
How about you, Tomcat? And then I'll go.
So I've got a couple of, I got college students and I got a high school student. And so my daughter who goes to UVM, big fan of the show, is now watching locally rather than from UVM because they're shut down like many other schools. So it's been a period of adjustment. It's nice to have the kids all together. My daughter, Annalise, actually takes half her classes online right now anyway through a program in Melrose schools. Not many kids do it, but so it's interesting to watch that continue without skipping a beat. And it's a little bit more of a struggle, I think, for the system to make this adjustment. And I think people kind of need to be, patient with that. So my work's been sort of off the hook during the day and night. And there's a big, there's a lot of pressure for everybody to balance maybe childcare and work and all of that right now. And I think we got to allow a little bit of time because there's a lot of conversations I'm in where people either, let's say it's work. What about this? What about that? Or school? What's the lesson plan? How are they doing that? What are they? It's like, let's relax. It's like day 3 or 2 or whatever it is. So I think it's early on. So I think we'll get there. I think everybody will be okay. But I definitely see a different slice with the older kids at my place.
Yeah.
Yes, I would say same for me. My kids are older. My daughter's in 8th grade, and then I have a senior in high school. And there's been a lot of resources and a lot of stuff out in the community, and I've been helping with one of those things too. We'll talk about that later. But it's geared towards younger, it's geared towards younger kids who kind of need to be kept busy, I think, for parents to be able to work. So mine are older, they're self-sufficient, and a lot of that stuff doesn't really apply to them. They're bored or they're not going to do that. My 8th grader is, she's an 8th grader, so she's been preparing for this all year. She was happy to just stay in her room and not talk to people, so she's fine. But but my older daughter, Clara's a senior in high school, and I feel for her. The kids have waited, and I know this is a first world problem. I get it, but the kids, have waited years and years to get to this sort of home stretch of high school, where the last few months it's springtime and they're blowing off classes and they're hanging out with their friends and they're getting ready for all the fun stuff because they worked really hard. They finished their tests, their college apps are done, and all that is gone. Like this is time that they're not gonna get back. And I think she's pretty bummed, and she feels kind of robbed, I think, of this time that they've waited for. And so I can't overstate that. It's this is going to be hardest for her, I think. But otherwise, we're doing a lot of forced family fun. And today we just organized in our neighborhood. We had an impromptu socially distanced St. Patrick's Day parade in the neighborhood, which basically meant just that everybody left their house at the same time and just walked around a 2-block little route that we mapped out. So you're always, everybody was always kind of far apart, but you could see people sort of down the street, and we were banging tambourines and cheering and waving, and some people kind of waved from their porch. So, we're trying to just figure out silly, goofy stuff to do like that. So
that's fun. I have to say, my mother is, and I'm sure this is the case for a lot of older folks, her routine has really been disrupted because she has spent, she usually helps me with pick up and drop off and those things. And so she's not here, and she's in her place with her crew. Mm-hmm. They're not together. They're just all in the same building. And I think that has probably been a little bit challenging. I know she posted something today about how she just misses her routine. I miss her because my laundry's piling up. No, just kidding, Mom, but I'm not kidding. So yeah, there's that. And I've also realized social distancing has taught me that I probably only like about 10 people. And I'm keeping in touch with them. So it's fun.
Yeah.
You're one of them.
I'm in the top 10. I'm in the top 10. I knew it.
I'm hoping we made the cut.
Tom is sometimes unsure, though.
Sometimes I'm 10, sometimes I'm 20.
He's on the cusp.
Yeah, right on the edge.
Yeah, it's been crazy
time, but we're powering through.
Yeah. I think it's gonna start. In the days coming, it's gonna start to feel more and more and more real. The time is gonna tick by more slowly, I think. But I also want to say too, I know there's been. I think people are trying to be helpful. I think a lot of the moms out there and parents out there are trying to be helpful with suggested schedules and suggested, you can do this or you can do that. And I would say that yes, that can be helpful. And I think everybody has good intentions, but everybody's family is different, and everybody's kind of thoughts about the situation is different. And again, especially for some of the middle school and older kids, I think middle school is stressful enough, and these kids are typically on a regular day, really over-programmed and really stressed out. And I think that the uncertainty of all this, and then not being with your friends and everything that comes with this, is really, really stressful. And I think for some kids and some families, maybe that kind of scheduling helps. But for others, I know in my house, we are, at least for now, we are just kind of loosening a lot of stuff. We're taking it a little bit at a time, making sure we go outside every day and stuff like that. But I have not yet kind of, established like a schedule for my kids, because I don't think that's going to work for them just yet. And I think they're going to be a little bit better off having a little flex time and a little downtime. So that's just us, but we'll see.
We have 3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
So we just need to take it as it comes.
Right.
So
right.
Maybe, Tom, should we segue into some of the latest updates? Because we do now have 3 weeks. We found that out the other day.
Yeah.
Governor, school's been canceled. And then there were some other announcements made yesterday by Mayor Broder.
You want to get into the just to make sure people are clear on the logistics of what's happening in town?
Yeah.
Yeah, as the chips fell quickly, because we're getting a lot of messages, and you saw this evolve very rapidly. I feel like it's kind of settled in on a lot of closures. So everything, all Melrose Public Schools, City Hall, Memorial Hall, Milano Center, BB Estate, Department of Public Works, City Yards, all closed to the public. Yesterday, all group activities and playing on playground equipment is no longer permitted. And restaurants may only, and this is kind of in line with, I think, some of the state guidelines or mandate now, I'm losing track. Restaurants may only provide takeout services. Importantly, all public safety services, including 911 response, are still fully available, and trash and recycling pickup will continue. I want to give a shout out while we're mentioning restaurants. I wrote it down here somewhere. I'm just as organized here as I am in our facility. Lorenzo of La Cachera and Tapas 529 put a post up, which I thought was...
and Emily. Lorenzo and Emily put this up there. We want to extend our help to any families that are residents of Melrose. If you need assistance feeding your children while this is happening here in Melrose, please direct message me, no questions asked. So, yeah, it's amazing.
There's a restaurant owner who could be worried about lost business, not being able to take dine-in and all of that. And there is both of them reaching out to the community to help out. I just thought that was great.
Yeah. You can buy gift certificates over there so that you can, go eat later when they're back open again. And I agree. I would encourage everyone to support them. They say yes to everybody. They are such partners in the community. They're so great. They've done so many, they've catered so many things or stepped in to help so many nonprofit events and things like that. They're wonderful. So I can't wait till they're open again, but I'll be grabbing a gift certificate for when that's possible.
On the other side of it, Sam, I know you like to cook. What have you been making over there to keep everybody well fed?
Hold on, I have to unmute myself. I'm very diligently watching what's happening on Twitter. Let's see. Today we made cookies, and then that was lunch, and then for dinner we made pretzel bites. So I'm going to have to document as my cheeks continue to grow throughout these next few weeks.
Whoa!
Yes!
It's just like that news show. Now it's on the BBC News.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I think we're going to see that video came back around again. Hi, Sal. And I remember thinking, like, we're going to start to see a lot more of those kinds of things over the next 3 weeks with people trying to work from home.
Yes.
Funny. Yeah. Do you guys remember my win of the week last time we were all together was that I got a
Yes,
new
I
job.
do, but just remind me again one more time.
So I got a new job with the Arts Resource Collaborative for Kids, but my start date has been postponed because of all this, because obviously they can't go into the schools anymore. So it's actually probably it's good to kind of just be here with the kids and everything. But yeah, so I'm on hold for a little bit. And
You're on hold. You know who else is on hold? KLG. Kate Lipper-Garabini is not being sworn in this week.
Yes,
so it's really, we're getting down to the bare essentials, and it's even questionable how those bodies might be able to meet and get things done just with the whole social distancing and all that.
Yeah.
Well, I know there was a announcement made the other day. The State House is also closed to the public, and I believe over the weekend, or maybe it was yesterday, I'm not sure. Things happening so quickly. The State House leadership was encouraging folks to let non-essential staff head home and not be in the building.
Yeah.
Which in my day job I do, as you all know, I spend time up in the State House, and the legislative session ends in July. So it'll be really interesting to see how this closure of a fair amount of the state affects progress made on legislation.
Okay, here's where I want to get back to what Jen was talking about before, sort of the end of the year being wiped out for seniors. I'm fortunate that my daughter was a freshman in college and got settled in that all-important first semester, and now she has to sort of deal with that. All the sports, are sort of wiped out for the season. Yeah. I'm holding out hope.
Well, wait, Tom, I just
that's okay.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry to take Eugenia's job to interview, but let's be careful, because when I was talking about things being wiped out, I mean, it's sort of like time with your friends. So as of right now, they do still have a start date for spring sports, but that could change. So I understand where you're going, but it hasn't been canceled yet. Prom and all that stuff, it hasn't been canceled yet. So far, but to your point. So go ahead. I just wanted to be clear about that.
So thank you for interrupting me. That's a great point that you made. No, really. No, she was right to do that, because I don't mean to spread misinformation. So if people don't know by now, we're not a news show, and I'm probably the least reliable on here in terms of the details. But generally, I know people's thoughts have gone to it's sort of lamenting a loss. It's just not going to be, because even when things come back online, or we're going to hold big graduations, we don't know how that's all how we're going to come out of this is unclear.
Right.
I have to think, I want to believe that we as a society, as a communities, will find a way to do that. So I'm holding out hope that it's not lost. It might look different. It might happen at a later time, but I'm hopeful that will all come together, in some way. So just because we're going into a new normal, maybe we put it that way. It's a change that's going to change us on the other side as well. And I think we'll find a way to have everybody get what they need, including that social time, which is a great thing. I heard that where the teens can teach us a thing or two. I don't know if your kids have ever, Jen, maybe your kids are old enough to do this, but like my son will walk around and he'll be FaceTiming his girlfriend, and they just have this conversation where he's talking to me, he's talking to her. They're just on the phone for like an hour. And it's this very casual thing that now I kind of look at it and go, aha, maybe that's a different way to socially interact in kind of a low key way. So I think we could also learn from, I always think we could learn from the kids,
definitely,
the next generation. But I think that's something for us to all keep in mind, which is actually one of the topics we had on the list to talk about. Is just sort of like technology stuff. We're using a new tech to do the show in this format. What other stuff have you guys come across? Or
well, yeah, to your point, one of the things that to me is fascinating about all this, and some of the sort of news that I can't get enough of, is how people in communities are adapting socially. You're seeing all these videos come out from these block apartment buildings in Italy and in other places where they're all like singing out the windows to each other. And I saw these guys like playing paddleball across balconies. I saw one where this one guy was standing on a rooftop doing an exercise routine, and the people on the balconies were following along, watching him and following along and doing exercises. And like I said, I'm trying to sort of think about things we can do here in the neighborhood kind of virtually. Melrose has a lot of organizations in Melrose kind of jumped into action to help the kids at school. We've got Follow Your Art and Destination Imagination are both posting daily online arts activities and challenge activities for kids. Alistair Mook is doing virtual music assemblies and stuff like that. So this kind of like sort of creative ways to do community events and bring community together and bring the fun. I'm all over this. It's fascinating to me. I love it. I think we can learn something from this for sure. I mean, would I rather be out face to face and in public with all my friends? Yeah, of course. But in some ways, this is inspiring and instilling some really creative solutions to community gathering that I really applaud and appreciate.
Which is
true. And I was just going to say, it's also really fascinating to see how people are actually interacting. So often we're just like texting quickly or in our zone or not engaging with each other, even though we're using technology. And I'll tell you what, I'm a little bummed I don't have stock in Zoom right now.
Yeah.
But people are really using it to stay connected and to interact and to see each other, which is cool. Because this is hard. I mean, it's only going to get worse before it gets better, and it is a really serious crisis. But if there's a silver lining, it's the reinforcement of a sense of community.
I think there's a rediscovery of some of the basics, right? There's a lot of like going for a walk.
Yeah.
And the parade you talked about. And from our fans out there, of course, we did some posts to see what people are doing. Middle-aged TikTok has become a trend.
My kids are refusing to do this with me. They're like, hell no.
Ideally, you do it together with them. You put on a funny hat. You do your switch, whatever it is. I don't even know what it is. But middle-aged TikTok is a thing.
Scotty boy, the pipes are calling.
Oh,
I should have kept the hat on.
God, a special guest.
Everybody put their hats on. Scotty's here. Scotty Khan is here.
Hey, Scotty.
How you doing?
We're fine. How are you?
What's happening?
I'm in my Shamrock bunker right now.
Okay, good. I hope is it fully stocked with Guinness?
Alec Guinness, yes, of course. We have Purell right here. It's green. Everything's good. I got my Lysol here. Everything's fantastic. How are things out in Zoom world?
Awesome. The show's going on. We can't do it without you, though. It's so great to see you.
Well, the show must go on. I've been watching here from the Shamrock bunker. I can't believe it. LTMM. Top of the morning to you, even though it's evening.
Top of the morning to you,
Top
Scotty.
of the evening to you, Scotty. I'm glad you have your priorities straight.
Is he gone?
He's gone already? He maybe he has.
I had some Lysol questions.
He's going to fill that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow with the money he makes selling that Lysol and hand
Purell, right? Yeah.
No, I'm glad they still make it. I wasn't sure if they still made the old, aerosol cans.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe that's been around for a while. Who knows?
You're a leprechaun. You have access to
anyway. Yeah. So what else we got? We don't really have.
So I was there's a couple more bits from the community. So
okay.
Definite recognition from the fans that people need information, but they also need entertainment. Yeah. Kathy Vines was weighing in like, so we're giving you the goods and the information, telling you better sources than us to get it to stay up to date. And that's what you should do for health and safety and a lot of other reasons. But
we're not a news outlet.
People need entertainment. And so I think we want to keep the show going. We got to take it to the next level. And Adolfo also weighed in and he said, you gotta have the dance. It's okay if you're on Zoom, but you got to keep dancing. That's the key thing.
Absolutely.
That's my motto in life. Keep dancing. Keep smiling and keep dancing.
Oh, isn't
that Lady Gaga's motto also?
Oh, is it? I don't know.
I think maybe instead of see around town, maybe we'll say keep dancing.
Yeah.
Anybody got a good quarantini recipe?
I didn't. I have to see what we still have left in the house. I think I have all the liquor, but nothing to put with it.
Sounds like
Somebody's asking me about that, and I think because everybody can only work with the supplies that are already in their house. I think you have to say like 1 part something brown, 1 part something white, 1 part something
with
sweet,
bubbles,
citrus of your choice if you have it.
All right, I'll have to see what we have. I got nothing right now. I mean, no recipe anyway. Maybe next week.
Another idea going around out there, coffee walks in our neighborhood. So just sort of coordinating from a 6 foot distance or whatever, not really meeting in small groups, but an outdoor thing. Hey, we're going to take a walk around the block.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, my kids are doing jump rope in the driveway like rock stars. Apparently this is part of the programming at the Melrose school system, something I want to pick up. And 2 of my kids yesterday went to the beach to see the sunset.
Oh, nice.
So that's another idea for people. My youngest daughter, it's her birthday tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
We're going to have a Google Hangout birthday party tomorrow.
Oh, happy birthday to her.
That's where it's going. That's all right. Don't sound sad. We're gonna have
Yeah.
fun with the family.
Yeah.
She's gonna
She's
do a
gonna have
Google
to make her
Hangout.
own Catalini cakes.
Yeah.
What's that?
Is she gonna have to make her own Catalini cakes?
Oh, right. Yeah. You know what? I got to get the order in. What time is it? I got yeah. All right. That's it. So what else is going on as far as anything else? Stress relief, fun times. We move on to the next segment.
What is the next segment?
Next segment is going to be any upcoming events, wins for the week.